There is a tiny pinecone-shaped organ buried deep in the center of your brain that both scientists and mystics have long pointed to as a kind of hinge between body and perception. Some called it the third eye. Modern biology calls it the pineal gland. What I want to offer you now is simple. 7 everyday foods that may help support the pineal's function, not as a magic key to some guaranteed vision, but as practical sensory steps that bring your biology and your attention into better harmony. If you've ever felt a quiet pull toward more clarity, try one of these tonight and notice what changes. This is informational and not medical advice. If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, taking medication, or managing a chronic condition, consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet or adding supplements. If this message lands with you, type recognition in the comments. Tell me which food you'll try tonight. The pineal gland is small, about the size of a grain of rice in adults, and it produces melatonin, a hormone that helps regulate sleep and circadian rhythm. It responds to light and darkness, and it is sensitive to many factors that influence whole body balance, oxidative stress, nutrient availability, and overall rhythm. The ancient language around a third eye offers a poetic way to think about inner clarity and attention. The science gives us nutrition and habits that support the gland's role in rhythm and restoration. Together, they form a practical path. Care for the body's rhythm, and you give yourself the conditions to notice more. Before we start the list, none of these foods promises instant awakening, nor are they cures. They may help provide nutrients or reduce factors associated with impaired pineal function, such as oxidative stress. Small, sustained changes are what count. With that in mind, let's begin. 1. Raw cacao. Magnesium, polyphenols, and a ritual for evening presence. Imagine a warm cup at dusk, hands cradling the steam. Raw cacao is rich in flavonoids and magnesium, nutrients associated with supporting calm, healthy nervous system function, and known to influence sleep quality indirectly through relaxation. The antioxidants in cacao may help reduce oxidative stress systemically, and magnesium contributes to normal sleep patterns, a key pineal function. How to use it? Make a simple ritual cocoa. Use 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw cacao nibs or powder whisked into hot water or warmed nut milk. Add a pinch of cinnamon and a bit of honey or another natural sweetener to taste. If you like, stir in a 1/4 teaspoon of maca or a tiny pinch of vanilla. Drink it 60 to 90 minutes before bed as a way to signal wind down. Micro practice. After you sip the last warm mouthful, place your hand gently over the center of your chest. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Breathe slowly in a 4-6 count, and notice any shift in temperature or calm. This short check is not a test of mystical power. It's a way to bring attention back into the body where subtle changes live. Contraindications and alternatives. If you are sensitive to caffeine or stimulants, choose a carob-based version or reduce the cacao amount. Those with nut allergies should use water or oat milk rather than almond milk. If you take antidepressants or MAO inhibitors, talk with your doctor about interactions with certain cocoa products. 2. Turmeric black pepper. Curcumin's anti-inflammatory promise made usable. Inflammation and oxidative stress are metabolic states the body uses to respond to many insults. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, has a long history of research suggesting anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Black pepper's piperine increases curcumin's absorption, making it more bioavailable. By helping to modulate systemic inflammation, this pair may indirectly support environments where the pineal functions more smoothly. How to use it? Make a nightly golden milk. Warm 1 cup of milk or a milk alternative. Stir in 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, a small pinch of black pepper, and a dash of cinnamon. Sweeten to taste. A teaspoon of turmeric in culinary form each day is a gentle, food-based approach. If you consider supplements, consult your healthcare provider, particularly if you are on blood thinners. Micro practice. While the golden milk cools, Take 3 deliberate nasal inhales and long exhales, letting your shoulders drop with each breath. Place your fingertips lightly on your forehead for 15 seconds and notice any softening of tension. This tiny ritual ties ingestion to awareness. Contraindications and alternatives. Turmeric can affect blood clotting and interact with certain medications. Pregnant or breastfeeding individuals should consult a clinician before using therapeutic doses. If turmeric causes stomach upset, try smaller amounts or pair it with a fat-containing food to aid absorption. 3. Sea vegetables, iodine, trace minerals, and a spectrum of electrolytes. Kelp, nori, wakame, and other sea vegetables are mineral-dense. They provide iodine and a range of trace elements that support thyroid health and metabolic balance. Healthy thyroid function helps regulate rhythms across the body. While the relationship between iodine and the pineal is not a direct awakening mechanism, adequate mineral balance supports the endocrine network the pineal sits within. Sea vegetables also contain antioxidants and unique phytochemicals. How to use it? Sprinkle toasted nori flakes over salad, blend a small piece of kelp into soups, or make a wakame seaweed salad. A small daily serving, think 1 sheet of nori or a tablespoon of wakame, is a culinary start. If you have thyroid disease or take thyroid medication, check with your provider about appropriate iodine intake. Micro-practice. After a bite of sea salad or a spoonful of miso soup with wakame, pause and let the taste settle on your tongue for 10 seconds. Close your eyes and notice whether a cooling or briny sensation appears behind your upper palate. The sensation itself is an anchor that connects taste, memory, and attention. Contraindications and alternatives. Excessive iodine can be problematic for those with autoimmune thyroid conditions. Consult your clinician. If you can't tolerate sea vegetables, try a mineral-rich bone broth or a small pinch of high-quality sea salt in water for electrolyte variety. 4. Chlorella or spirulina. Chlorophyll, dense nutrition, and mild chelation potential. Blue-green algae like chlorella and spirulina are nutritive powerhouses. They bring chlorophyll, vitamins, minerals, and peptides into one compact food. Chlorophyll supports blood quality and has been studied for mild binding properties with certain heavy metals in lab contexts. In food form, chlorella and spirulina offer concentrated nutrients that can help support detox pathways and antioxidant defenses, again, indirectly supporting the pineal by improving systemic balance. How to use it? Add 1 teaspoon of chlorella or spirulina powder to your morning smoothie or a glass of fresh juice. Start small. Some people notice digestive changes when they begin. If you prefer whole food sources, add spirulina to an energy ball or blend it into a green smoothie. Micro-practice. Take a sip of your smoothie, place a palm over your forehead, and breathe 5 slow, attentive breaths while softly saying to yourself, "I bring nourishment to my center." Notice any tingling, warmth, or relaxation, and jot down a 1-word impression later. Contraindications and alternatives. Those with autoimmune conditions or on immunosuppressants should consult a healthcare provider, as algae can interact with immune function. If you have a seafood or algae allergy, avoid these products. Quality matters. Choose reputable brands tested for contaminants. 5. Cilantro and parsley, culinary collators and freshening herbs. Cilantro has been studied for its ability to bind certain metals in laboratory contexts. And while food-based cilantro won't detoxify the way a medical procedure might, incorporating cilantro and parsley into meals adds fresh antioxidants and may support the body's natural elimination pathways when part of a larger, balanced diet. Their bright flavors also encourage meals with whole ingredients, which is important. How to use it? Blend a cilantro-parsley pesto with olive oil, garlic, lemon, and a few pumpkin seeds. Use it on roasted vegetables, fish, or as a spread. Or add a generous handful of chopped cilantro to salsa, salads, or a warm bowl of broth. Micro-practice. After a spoonful of pesto or a bite of salsa, Press your fingertips gently to the webbing between thumb and forefinger on either hand, an acupressure spot, and take 6 breaths. Notice whether the fresh taste shifts your mood, clarity, or energy. Contraindications and alternatives. Cilantro can be polarizing in taste. If you dislike it, parsley or basil can provide similar freshness. If you're on medications affecting mineral balances, discuss large-scale herbal changes with a clinician. 6. Nuts and seeds, tryptophan, zinc, magnesium, and evening support. Pumpkin seeds, walnuts, and other nuts and seeds bring tryptophan, a precursor to melatonin and serotonin, zinc, and magnesium, which are important for healthy neurotransmitter balance, sleep, and nervous system health. Eating a small handful in the evening can provide amino acids and minerals that support the body's natural rhythm toward sleep. How to use it? Keep a small jar of roasted, unsalted pumpkin seeds and walnuts by your bedside or kitchen. A typical serving is about a small handful, a quarter cup. Try them lightly toasted with a sprinkle of sea salt and a dash of smoked paprika for variety. If you have nut allergies, use roasted pumpkin, sunflower, or hemp seeds instead. Micro-practice. After your handful of seeds, sit with your feet on the floor, place your hands on your knees, and take 10 slow diaphragmatic breaths. Feel the weight of gravity and let your jaw unclench. This anchors the nutrient intake to a nervous system cue. Rest. Contraindications and alternatives. Nuts can be allergenic. Choose seeds if nuts are not tolerated. Those on blood thinners should discuss frequent high vitamin K foods with their provider. 7. Apple cider vinegar, ACV, or citrus, digestive clarity and gentle metabolic support. Good digestion helps the body eliminate and mobilize nutrients. Apple cider vinegar and citrus in meals can support digestive processes and improve glycemic response to a meal, which in turn supports hormonal balance. ACV is often used as a culinary tool rather than a cure. Diluted in water or used in dressings, it gently supports digestion without extreme intervention. How to use it? Make a simple salad dressing. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or the juice of half a lemon, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt. Use this on salads or steamed vegetables. For digestion, try a tablespoon of ACV diluted in a cup of water before a main meal, but start with smaller amounts if you're sensitive. Micro-practice. After your salad or lemon-dressed dish, place a hand on your belly, just above the navel, and breathe into that hand for 30 seconds. Notice warmth, movement, or subtle shifts in tension. This ties digestion to awareness and helps you learn how your body responds to different foods. Contraindications and alternatives. ACV is acidic. Do not take it undiluted. If you have acid reflux or erosive esophagitis, discuss with your clinician. Citrus may aggravate certain gastrointestinal conditions. Substitute with a splash of high-quality apple cider or a mild vinegar if needed. After the list, small habits that amplify what you eat. Food is foundational, but rhythm and environment shape how that food becomes experience. Here are practices that amplify the effects of those 7 foods. Morning sunlight. Expose your eyes, not staring, just ambient light, to morning sun for 5 to 10 minutes soon after waking. This helps entrain your circadian rhythm and supports healthy melatonin timing. Filtered water. Consider filtering your drinking water if you are concerned about chlorine or fluoride exposure in your local supply. I say consider because sources and levels vary widely. Consult local water quality reports and, if needed, a professional for filtration options. Framing it as a thoughtful choice rather than a dramatic claim keeps us grounded. Sleep hygiene. Keep consistent bed and wake times, dim lights in the evening, and reduce blue light exposure an hour before sleep. The pineal is exquisitely light-sensitive. Simple darkness cues help it do its job. Reduce processed sugars and excessive stimulants. High-sugar diets and chronic caffeine overuse can disturb rhythm. Try replacing late-night sweets with a cacao cup or a small handful of seeds. breathwork, and brief pauses. A few minutes of slow, steady breathing each evening can lower sympathetic arousal and make the body more receptive to rest and repair. Putting it into practice, a 2-minute integration to try tonight. Choose one food from the list to include in your evening routine. Prepare it as suggested. Once you've eaten or sipped, take a quiet 2-minute moment for the following short integration practice. Sit or stand comfortably. Place your hand either over your chest or gently on your forehead, whichever feels more natural, and breathe slowly. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, keeping the breath soft and even. As you do this, say quietly, either in your mind or out loud, one of these short statements. I choose clarity, or I support my body's rhythms. Repeat it 3 times. Then simply observe. Notice your heart rate, the texture of inner silence, or any change in emotion. Do not expect visions. Expect a shift in attention. That shift is the beginning of measurable change. A few important cautions and clarifications. None of these foods is a guarantee of spiritual vision or sudden transformation. They are tools, foods, and micro-practices that may support processes associated with rest, detoxification, and endocrine balance. If you are taking prescription medication, particularly blood thinners, thyroid medications, or psychiatric drugs, speak with your clinician before adding concentrated herbal products or large quantities of any single food. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, consult your healthcare provider. Where I have suggested supplements or concentrated powders, those are optional. Start with small culinary doses rather than high-dose supplements, unless a clinician advises otherwise. If you're skeptical, that's a good sign. Treat this as an experiment you can run on yourself. Try one food tonight and check in after a week. How is your sleep? Are you waking more refreshed? Do you notice subtle changes in attention or mood? Use the micro-practices after each meal for a month and keep a tiny log, just a line each day, to see patterns emerge. A short invitation to test and report. We live in an age where knowledge once framed as secret is now accessible. But access alone isn't change. Change happens when you practice. Pick one food from this list to try tonight. Afterward, place a hand over your chest, breathe for 30 seconds, and notice. Come back and type recognition in the comments and tell me which food you tried and one small observation. We'll compare notes and build a collective sense of what these choices do in real bodies. Final summary and next step. To recap briefly, raw cacao for magnesium and evening ritual, turmeric plus black pepper for inflammation modulation, sea vegetables for iodine and trace minerals, chlorella or spirulina for chlorophyll-rich nutrition, cilantro and parsley for culinary collation support, nuts and seeds for tryptophan, zinc and magnesium, and apple cider vinegar or citrus for digestive clarity. Pair these foods with morning light, filtered water as needed, consistent sleep, and short breath practices to amplify their potential benefits. If this felt useful, like and subscribe for the next video, where we pair 2 short breath rituals with these foods to deepen the effect. Try one food tonight, do the 2-minute integration, and share your experience below. Join the community here. The practice is simple, repeatable, and grounded in the body. That's where discovery begins. I'll leave you with one short affirmation you can use whenever you eat. I choose clarity. I support my body's rhythms. Make it yours. Say it quietly as you breathe, and notice what listening does over days and weeks.